would say probably the main temptation faced by Orthodox Christians in the West, in modernity in general, is double-mindedness, in the sense of wanting to be faithful Orthodox Christians, but at the same time be able to live comfortably in the world. I think for a lot of Orthodox Christians, there's a sort of tension within us. There's the faith that we've received and that we want to hold on to and that we want to live in a full and authentic way. But there's also this, probably I think for a lot of us, this fear almost that what the world says is really true or is really correct about a number of things. And so we have within us this, I guess, cognitive dissonance is the psychological term for it, but we don't know how to keep both of them within us at the same time. And so I think the temptation is to compromise our faith or to ignore parts of our faith that are inconvenient for life in the modern world. I've been thinking recently about the Fools for Christ and how important a witness the Fools for Christ are to us. Particularly the stories of some of the Fools for Christ who would do things that at the time were very scandalous to the faithful, who would visit harlots or different places of sin, and they would be unharmed by those things because of their folly for Christ. If you or I or most ordinary Orthodox Christians were to engage in the kind of behavior the Fools for Christ did, we would fall immediately into sin. And I think we as Orthodox Christians who are immersed in this extremely sinful culture, and yet we lack that disdain for the praise of the world that the Fools for Christ possessed, I think that puts us in a dangerous situation because of our care for how others will perceive us. I think it weakens our ability to resist sin. It all comes down ultimately to what Christ told us. You cannot serve God and mammon. You cannot love father or mother or sister or brother, lands or possessions or anything else more than you love me. If you're not willing to lay down your cross, you cannot be my disciple. And similarly too, what the apostle says in the New Testament, that love for the world is hatred for God. So in order to overcome that double-mindedness, I think we need to, of course, the ascesis of folly for Christ is a very unique and difficult ascesis, but like any of the examples of the saints, there's something for all of us to learn from and to take our inspiration from. And I think for us particularly, it's their ability to care absolutely nothing for what anybody thinks about them, because they know that they're seeking the will of God. And because of that firmness of their resolve to please God alone, they were able to be in the midst of all these temptations without being harmed by them. And God, I think, protected them from many things that would have been causes of downfall to you or I. So I think in order to overcome double-mindedness, what we need to do is to resolve, first of all, to not care what anybody thinks about us, whether that's our Orthodox brothers and sisters or the family members or friends or coworkers, whoever else that it may be that we encounter in our day-to-day life. We have to be willing to suffer exactly the same kind of scorn and mockery and ridicule that, first of all, our Savior suffered on the cross, but then following his example, the Fools for Christ suffered from their fellow believers as well as from worldly men and women. As long as we care about our own reputation and the way that others perceive us, I don't think we're going to be able to be faithful Christians living in the world. I don't see how that's possible. For a long time, I think it was possible, when our culture was more Christian, to be able to live a life that was outwardly respectable and at the same time, to at least a certain measure, faithful to the gospel commandments. But I think it's clear that our society has progressed far beyond that point,